All right, so I think when the firm thing, that's like another thing with my industry thing. Basically, if I'd have signed a production deal, I would have been in the firm. But Steve Stoute is incredibly financially rich, but he's not morally rich. So there were certain things that Stoute used to say that really bothered me. Like, he told my man Biz, you might know Biz, because Biz used to be like my manager, and he used to be at Violate all the time. So one day he told Biz, if Mega wasn't part of the firm, do you think people would even care? Like, he made it, so I could have signed a production deal after that, but I wouldn't respect myself. Like, I got to look in the mirror when I go home. So basically, certain things people say, it makes you think about yourself. Like, do I suck? Like, that's basically what he's saying. Like, you suck. Like, you're cool. You're on because you're down with us. Like, or people like you because of us. So I wanted to prove him wrong. So I could have signed it, but I didn't. And then, there was a lot of complications, like minor bullcrap. But I was like, I can't do it. I wouldn't respect myself. He straight up said that. And he also said, the last song you're going to hear Mega on is Affirmative Action Remix. So me being oblivious to the ways of the industry, I'm laughing in my head like, he's bugging. I'm on La Familia. Like, he don't know what he's talking about. I'm on La Familia. So when La Familia came out, I wasn't on it. So they said my verse got erased by accident.
What?
So, yeah. So if you do your research, there's a song called La Familia with Cormega, and then there's another one with Nature on it. So they took me up and put Nature on it. Shout out to Nature too. That's my man. He's on the new album, as you guys know.
Yeah.
And so I really didn't like Steve during that time. I respect him now, but I really didn't like him at that time. So I wasn't gonna sign it. So that set a chain of events into motion. And there was a song that came out. One day they was in the studio, and there was a freestyle that came out. It was on a Clue tape. And back in the days, Clue was bigger than I don't know what. Like, a Clue tape was more popular than people's albums. So there was a particular song, and Nature, he went at me on the song. He's like, saying you with the firm, how's that when you got your spot jacked, So then I responded, and that's how the whole thing started, So I went at him and Nas, because I was like, I'm gonna go at the boss and the worker. So that's what my mind frame was back then. But the media, and not just the media, because there's people that was just on their side. They had more strength than me in the industry. So there's just people saying, oh, Mega was just mad because he wasn't in the firm. That wasn't true at all, because at the end of the day, if that diss to song about me never came out, I never would have made a diss song at all. There never would have been one. And you could do research. His was out first. Nature will even tell you that. Nature's my man. Me and him is very close. Actually, I can show you my phone right now. There's a text from Nature to me from today. You know what I'm saying? So if they never made that song dissing me, there never would have been a diss record towards them. So the media would have never been able to say Meg was mad, that's why he made that song. That wasn't true. I made a song responding to their initial diss. So then that was that. Then when the Firm album came out, and when the source was like the Bible, the very first word in the write-up, if you do the research on it, was saying something about how my Cormega is missed on this album. That was my vindication right there. I felt so good just reading that part, because it's like, okay, so I'm not the weak link in the chain. You know what I'm saying? So, after that, I just started going hard. I had to do my own thing, and I think that firm situation was one of the reasons I was on the shelf, because Trackmasters and Stoute was so powerful. I can't say Trackmasters, not like Trackmasters was trying to stop me, but Stoute runs Trackmasters. So Trackmasters was the go-to producers. They was executive producer of Foxy's album. It's power. Think about it. Look at the firm. Steve Stoute, Trackmaster. Steve Stoute managed Nas. The executive produced Foxy Brown's album, did a lot of production on AZ's album, and Nature was signed to what? track masters. So I was the only one that wasn't financially benefiting them. And then look at this. When I was thinking about signing a production deal, it was greedy. It was like my record deal was for $250,000, which you was in the game at that time. That was astronomical. You know what I'm saying? But if you're charging me, first of all, Steve Stoute wanted $50,000 to executive produce my album, straight up, right? So that's $50,000. So you minus $50,000 for $250, that leaves you with $200, right? Okay, mind you, I got to pay my lawyer, and my manager gets a cut too, and I've only been home for like close to a year. I need things myself. So it's not $250 anymore. So let's just say it's $200. So then you want $50,000 to be executive producer. That leaves you $150,000. So I'm thinking he wants $50,000. I'm thinking, is the beats included with that? But now we're gonna do I think $20,000 a beat. That's gonna be like the hookup price. That was a good price, I guess, back then, because Trackmaster was getting a lot of money for production. But think about it. If you doing, and back in those days, what you know, people used to do a bunch of songs. That might not even make the album, but that don't mean that the producer don't want to get paid.
Right.
So you set me up to fail from the gate. You know what I'm saying? So what's your gripe with me? Your gripe with me is that I've always been that I've always been a smart artist. Like, I could get a copy of my old, God bless Chris Lighty. My first record contract was from Chris Lighty. It was a fair deal. I think I had 14 points, which is a lot for an artist, which really ain't a lot in period total, but for an artist, that's a lot. And I had all my publishing. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Rest in peace, Chris Lighty. That's a fact. So here you are. I'm an artist. I'm on point. I'm on top of my game. I was reading about the industry in those little books, and I got a good lawyer. I had Kenny Mysalis at the time. So I own my publishing, and I got a great points. Now I'm going to sign a production deal with you, and the production deal I signed with you is going to eat up my recording budget, because I didn't want Trackmasters to do my whole album. I like Trackmasters, and I know what type of songs y'all going to do. Y'all going to do those singy puffy type songs, but I don't really want to do a bunch of those songs. I want Havoc beats and R&S or like RZA types. I want that too. So we had a conflict of interest right there. So long story short, I got dismissed, or whatever they want to say. I wasn't in the group, but after that, I went hard to preserve my name, and the fans responded to me. Like, right now, I could do a show with any. I could do a. When Nas brought me out to No Key to Theater, it was a surprise show. This was during me and Nas's beef, or whatever you want to call it, during those years. So nobody expected me to be there. So Nas is singing One Love. He's like, "What's up with Cormega? Did you see him on Y'all Together?" And then I walk out on stage. It was playing by me and Nas. Go to YouTube, you can see it. The crowd went ape shit. I've never. If you look at when Nas came out of Jay-Z's thing, or when Nas brought me out, see the reaction from the crowd. They went more crazier when me and Nas reunited than when Jay-Z and Nas reunited. They went, "Yo, listen to the audio. If I'm lying, I will buy you guys lunch for a week straight." Yo, I want you to listen to the audio. You're gonna hear men going, "Ah!" screaming like girls. Like, yo, there was dudes. I've never heard dudes tell me, "Yo, Mega, I got goosebumps." So when me and Nas reunited, that just was powerful. So I was like, so it just made us both like, wow, think of what could have been. So it did. So you're right. I think that made me stronger. And I think I'm one of those Reggie Miller types. Like, that game when the Knicks was winning, they was up by a couple of. It was over. The Pacers conceded, but then Spike Lee did the choke sign and motivated Reggie, and they beat the Knicks. That's what happened with me. Like, I just get motivated by certain things. So that's what happened, and I go hard. Like, I wasn't pampered by the industry, so I never knew how to be a pampered sport. I'm willing to go get it. Like, I drove to New Jersey, parked, jumped on the New Jersey Transit to Penn Station, and came here. Like, I'm a grinder. So as long as you grind, you combine somebody that's willing to grind with somebody that's willing to not compromise his craft, and you have a powerful.
You got a soldier beyond.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Warrior.
I mean, and also I remember the time when you were beefing with Nas, and the fact that he responded, and he would respond like, on God's Son, like at that time, you know, everybody was like, oh, well, we have to pay attention.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it wasn't like, yeah, you made him answer.
Let me tell you how real of a person I am. When he responded, he definitely had to respond because I had like one of the realness. That's when the realness was out. So it's not like you could say, well, I'm not going to answer because I had like one of the most popular albums of the year, bar none. I mean, I was the #1 heat seeker in America for 2 weeks in a row. And heat seeker is not independent. Heat seeker is whatever. Like Bob Hope could have came out with the album or whoever, Elvis, whatever. If there was a new artist, they would have been a heat seeker. Like I was the #1 heat seeker in America for 2 weeks in a row with the realness. Like it was making so much noise. So he responded. And then let me show you how much a man that I am. When he responded, my record sales increased 70%. Like I could have milked that beef for years. I stopped the next year. You know why? You can even look at my old interviews. I say I'm not gonna let because the media started trying to pimp me because controversy sells. So there'll be magazines that'll call me and only ask me. They'll call me just so they could get a question about Nas. Like I don't know what happened with him. There was a lady named Serena Kim from Vibe magazine, and then she wanted to do an interview with me. So I was like, cool. So I was gonna do an interview, but she was like, so tell me something about Nas, like something from back in the days. I said, he made Illmatic. It's one of the greatest albums ever. She's like, no, not that, something else. So she wanted dirt. So I didn't want to do the interview. And me and her had a falling out because of that, like literally. So, you know, I wasn't in Vibe for a while after that. So, and then there's been times when other magazines I won't mention because I still do business with them. Now, I mean, I'm in Vibe again now, but there's been other magazines that's big, not Source, that was like, yo, we'll do a feature Omega about Nas. So I'm like, I don't want to do that. I'm tired of people just calling me for that. Like when an artist is looked at like that, it's like you're gimmicking me. Like there's not more to. Like, it's like you don't respect my craft. Like I think there's more to Cormega than just having beef with another artist. And at the end of the day, I got more attachment to that artist than I do to you. Like when his mother died, I was sad. Like we got history. So at the end of the day, I'm not proud that we had beef. It's not something that I'm proud of. So I could have milked it. I could have milked that beef and kept beefing and made more money, but I didn't because I don't want that to be a part of my legacy. I'm not gonna, as I said, I'm not gonna be the Frazier to his Ali. I'm gonna be the greatest Cormega that I can be without that. So, you know, and that's one of the things that I've done. I've tried to not rely on controversy or not rely on features. I don't want to be reliant. Only thing that I rely on is two things. That I wake up every day and see a new day by the blessing of God and the fans. Those are the two things that's going to get me through.
Well, you know, journalism is just another industry.
Exactly. So
works similarly.
Yeah.
Honestly.
And controversy sells.
Yeah.
So it's like, but after a while, it's like, okay, you want me to talk about this guy. At the end of the day, and some magazines are incredible because they'll ask you the question, but they'll just show your words. They won't show the question. Mm-hmm. So then you start looking like a hater. And I was like, I'm not going out like that.
Yeah.
Especially, I was out like there was no need for me to hate. Like during that time when a magazine might say, you know, make it look like I'm a hater or whatever. First of all, I got a house. Like one of the questions that people tend to ask me, yo, you still live in Queensbridge? I find that kind of insulting in a way, or like, what are you insinuating? Like, dogs. Yeah. I had my album came out. My daughter was born over 10 years ago. I had a house before my daughter was born, and my daughter will be 12 this year. I had a house before then. I have a house. You know what I'm saying? Like I got a 2-car garage. You know what I'm saying? I have a basketball court inspired by Chris Lighty. You remember he had the basketball court in the back of his house? Yeah. I got that same court. Like I'm good. So the hater thing just ain't me. And everybody that knows me, my man Jake Payne, he's an incredible writer. I'm pretty sure you guys know him. He's like, he knows me as a person, and he was like, Mega, you're shy. Like I don't like attention. Like I don't like, you know how some people want to be rich or famous. I just want to be rich. Like I don't like. I went to my man Daytron's party, which we all know, a few years ago. He was surprised I was there. Like, and Payne compares me to Basquiat. He was like, I'm glad you made that song because that's who you remind me of. You're a recluse, like you're reclusive. I don't like attention. I'm the type of dude, I never even knew how to talk to girls. You know how guys have a lot of game, yo baby and all that? I never knew that. I never was like that. Like, I just lucked up because girls always liked me. So I was like, okay. So it's like, I'm not an attention seeker. I don't want to. So all of that bull crap, I'm not like that. I don't drink alcohol anymore. I barely ever smoke weed. I don't even like Molly Ringwald. I don't mess with none of that stuff. Like, look, you had an interview with me today. I was on time.
You were early.
I'm so rap. I'm such a, my friend Mike Kidd, he's the funniest Jewish kid you'll ever meet. He calls me the anti-rapper. He's like, you're not a rapper, you're an anti-rapper. He's like, you keep your room. He calls me Felix. He calls me that and Felix from The Odd Couple. He's like, you keep your room clean, you're on time, you don't get high. He's like, you're not a fucking rapper. He teases me about that. So it's like, to me, they didn't know me. But they was trying to project an image like I'm some mad, disgruntled dude. Like I'm sitting in Queensbridge, like the Mr. T Grunt from Rocky. Like I was in Queensbridge, yeah. Because I used to chill in the hood all the time. But I don't even do that anymore because there's nothing for me there. And even it came to a point when I had to grab myself mentally. Like, what are you doing? Like if I'm in the hood every day, cops start insinuating things cops was insinuating that I was giving people money to make moves. When people start insinuating things that I'm not even doing, it's time to go. And then if I'm sitting on a block, I used to have a feeling, on my last album, before this, I said I'm no longer seeking acceptance. I used to feel like if I'm not going there or if I'm not doing stuff, I'm not keeping it real with the hood. And it's like, come on, man. As a man, I had to tell myself, keeping it the best way to keep it real is keep it real with yourself. Mm. How I'm gonna raise my daughter and be in the hood, or it's a conflict of interest. I don't even live in New York City. I live upstate, so it's like it's a conflict of interest. I can't be there and be here. I'm at the school bus with my daughter type, and you know what I'm saying. So it's like I stopped hanging in the hood totally. So back then it was like the media was trying to project me as some angry dude, but it wasn't, or some angry dudes that's jealous of fame. You got the wrong character. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Everybody that knows me will agree wholeheartedly with what I'm saying. I don't like fame. I love the fans and I love the money.
Do you consider yourself a studio rat? Like, what's your process in recording?
I've never been a studio rat. Even when I was on Violator, I never was a studio rat because I'm very observant. And one of the biggest wastes of money that you could do is be a studio rat. Unless you got your own studio. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I used to go to the studio and see numerous artists in the studio writing and smoking and then taking hours and hours and hours. And before you know it, you start getting invoices and statements. And it's like, damn, you spent $30,000 recording that album? You spent such and such thousand on studio time? So I said, I'm not going to do that. So what I do is, one of my secrets to writing, there's a few ways that I write. One is off inspiration. I like riding the bus lately. Like, I like the bus and I like the Amtraks, those type of trains, because when you ride and you see the cinematics of that area and it makes your mind wander. So I like doing stuff like that. And sometimes I just write with no music. I just write how I'm feeling. I like that. Also, if somebody sends me a dope beat, that's an incredible beat, I'm just going to write to it immediately. So that inspires me. And then, what else? Hearing great music. Sometimes you hear something that's just so great, sometimes I hear something that's just so great, it makes me like, wow, I want to be, I want to make something epic. Like, that's greatness. Like, I got to try to be like that. So those are some of the things that make me write. So as far as being a studio rat, never that. And even when it's time for me to zone out, like Large Pro will email me a shitload of beats, and I'll just go through the beats I like. And while I'm home, there's not much to do. My daughter's at school, so I'm just chilling, take the beat, write. And I find that, and young artists and upcoming artists, I hope they listen and take my advice. I find that when you write in your spare time at home, it gives you time to analyze it and even make the appropriate changes. Sometimes when you're in the studio especially if you're on a clock and you got an A&R such that we got to meet this deadline. What you say, you leave, you come back a few days later, your song is mixed and ready to go. So it's like when I write at home, I get to perfect it more because it's like I'll write something and I'll look at it and I'll scrutinize it and be like, nah, and do some changes or maybe throw it around my way or alter it. And then I'll go to the studio and lay it down and then I'm more happy with it because I have more time to be with it. So I've never been a studio rat.
What is great music? Like, what do you listen to?
Great music. Marvin Gaye is great music. Bob Marley is great music. You got Beatles songs that are great music. You got, I could throw in Rakim Pay the Full album. Tribe Called Quest, any album. Rakim, any album. I don't want to say like Rock got a bunch of crap. Coogee Rap. All right, let me just say Juice Crew. This way I'm not.
Okay.
Juice Crew, Eric B. and Rakim, Marvin Gaye, Sister Nancy. That's my favorite reggae lady. Barrington Levy. No Doubt. Guns N' Roses. Public Enemy, NWA, Slick Rick, Hey Young World. That song is like Pringles potato chips. Like once Hey Young World comes on, I gotta play it. I can't hear it once. So it's like 4 times I heard Hey Young World. So it's like there's a lot of great albums. Being affiliated from Queensbridge alone, I don't know how other artists see it, but I see it as I have to live up to a standard of tradition.
Everyone we've spoken to from Queensbridge has said the same thing. Marley said it. Nas said it. Lars said it.
Look at the artists, but look at the people you're talking about. You have some people that think that they could just use that. Some people try to use Queensbridge as a credit card. The artists that you name, those are innovators and groundbreakers. So they see it the way we see it. But some people just think QB, let me in. Like they got a QB ID card. There's some people that just use QB name and think that's going to carry them, but it's not like that. It's like it's not about QB carrying you, it's about you carrying QB. It's like you carrying the legacy. So you have to work twice as hard for people to respect you like they respect a Nas or anybody from that Juice Crew era or that Mobb Deeps or the Natures or any of those artists, because these artists put out a lot of great work and a lot of great impact. So it's like you got to live up to the impact, or you just did. Like there's people that have a couple of championship rings that we don't know their name. They just so happen to be at the end of the Spurs bench or the Lakers bench or the Bulls bench. I don't want to be at the end of the bench. I want to be on the floor producing.
Prodigy said it too.
Yeah.